Ask the deputy to move you down to the other end. We're off the record. My birthday has been ruined. People didn't follow the rules. Nathaniel, I'm shocked at you. Court is calling 2024 CR 010935 State versus Domitilo Montojo Arenas. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ashley Jones for the state.
Efrain Torres Jr. for Mr. Domitilo Montejo Arenas.
And are you Mr. Arenas?
Yes.
All right, we have an interpreter here. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and Spanish into English, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
My name is Catalina Delgado, Your Honor.
All right, so guys, please don't talk behind the court reporter. Just ask the deputy to move you down to the other end. We're off the record. My birthday has been ruined. People didn't follow the rules. Nathaniel, I'm shocked at you. It's heartbreaking. All right, we're gonna pretend like that didn't happen. We're gonna start it all over. Everybody's following the rules. We're back on the record. Could you state your name for the record?
My name is Catalina Delgado, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Arenas, all the documents I'm going to review with you are in English. Were those explained to you in Spanish?
Yes.
And counsel, do you speak Spanish?
Fluent, Your Honor.
Sí.
I know you do, but do you do?
I do.
All right. Counsel, have you received all of the discovery?
We have, Your Honor.
Did you review it with your client?
We did.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Arenas, did you review the document entitled Application for Community Supervision or Deferred Adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney?
Sí,
Yes.
Did you understand it?
sí,
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yeah.
Did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Did you understand you're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That is a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
sí,
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
sí,
Yes.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
sí,
Yes.
Did you understand that the court would grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
sí,
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Arenas, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
no,
No.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
no,
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
sí,
Yes.
Are you a US citizen?
no,
No.
Counsel, have you had a chance to consult with your client, the impact this plea will have on his immigration status?
Judge, he actually spoke to an independent immigration attorney judge who actually visited him at the jail. He actually has his plea letter right here with him. He understands that he could potentially be put into deportation proceedings and potentially be deported. It's still his wish to move forward with his plea. And so he is aware of full range of consequences in regards to taking this plea.
All right, Mr. Arenas, did you understand by entering into this plea bargain agreement that you will be deported?
sí,
Yes.
Knowing that, do you still wish to proceed?
sí,
Yes.
And did you have ample opportunity to speak with an immigration attorney?
Yes.
And are you here legally?
no,
No.
All right, court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did y'all review the plea bargain agreement with your attorney?
sí,
Yes.
According to the plea, there's a $1,500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent? Did you understand that to be as part of the plea?
C,
Yes.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
D,
Yes.
Counselor, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your supervision be for a term of 2 years. There be 40 hours of community service restitution, no contact with Carlos Sanchez, anger management, TAP evaluation, and follow all recommendations. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
C,
Yes.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State, any evidence?
No objections, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
C,
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
C,
Yes.
All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. So, question, why should I accept this offer? Where is the complainant?
Your Honor, this time the state has not had contact with anybody.
All right, and it appears that both parties involved are not citizens. From reading the report, that's what it seems to be to the court.
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
So are you telling me you're probably not going to be able to get in touch with the complainant?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You may be excused. All right. The court will sentence you to a $1,500 fine if there's no objection to proceed with sentencing.
No objection.
That will be probated. 3 years deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. You're not allowed to re-enter the United States. And I'm assuming there's probably going to be an ICE hold or something.
I think there currently is one.
All right. There's to be 200 hours of community service restitution. It appears that Carlos Sanchez is his nephew.
Correct.
So I'll do a no contact order with Carlos Sanchez. If he appears in the United States and wishes to address that, he can. So there'll be no contact with Carlos Sanchez. I'll do anger management, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs. Probation, I don't expect Mr. Arenas to be back in the United States. So if he is arrested for arriving back in the United States, then that will be a violation of his probation. So there are no other conditions for me to add unless there is something you wish to have added. All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
D,
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. All right, is there anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You
Thank
may
you.
be excused.
Your Honor, may I give it to me, please?
All right, who do you have?
I have Alex Miasek.
All right, yes,
I guess Judge, he is set for, I think a plea deadline was, I think today.
yes.
I was gonna ask for just a few more weeks because the state did send some other discovery on some at-large cases that we are just reviewing and have not had a chance to review yet.
Okay, is he here today?
He's here, yeah.
All right, Mr. Miasek, come
We are
forward.
leaning towards the plea on this one, but we want to make sure we have all of our bases covered on watching all of the, looking at all the other discovery in it.
All right, so I am going to recall this for November 14th. That will be your final chance to enter into a plea deadline date. Do you understand? All right, thanks for dressing appropriately for court. Ms. Ferguson, Miasek is coming back on the 14th. State, that's the final plea deadline date. All right, who's here on Dirkland Davy? And Deputy Laura, what page is Miasek on? Oh, all right, thank you.
Miosek, you just walked out.
All right, you may want to probably chest. Let's see. This one on it. All right, we're here on a violation report.
Yes, Judge.
All right. So what are you all going to be asking for before we go on the record? All right. We're going to go on the record. Court is calling NIMAG number 755032, State of Texas versus Dirkland Davy. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Monica Anna Guerrero for Dirkland Davy.
All right, so we're here on a violation report. This is the 6th violation report, and it has to do with skipped retests. All right, so it's obvious to the court. He is with outpatient treatment with
Yes,
lifetime.
outpatient With lifetime.
Obviously, he needs inpatient treatment. The state is asking for a bond increase. Do you want to address that?
We don't think a bond increase will address Mr. Davies' addiction. I would agree he does need more help. He is on track with his AA meetings every single day with outpatient. He says he's on the phone 2 to 3 times a week, around 3 hours. He's really addressing his alcohol problem, but it's a process and it's a problem, and he's making the steps. He admits that he has made this mistake. He fully
No, I mean, he's making bad choices.
had choices.
So here's the thing.
Mhm.
Either his bond is getting increased or he's going into inpatient treatment with lifetime recovery.
Okay.
So,
We
Yes.
have discussed that possibility. My personal recommendation or request to the court was going to be to add a scram to him as an additional measure to what he's already doing. But if the court is requiring inpatient, I talked to Mr. Davy, he's not saying no to it. His concern is that he is a sole provider for his family. His wife just had back surgery on October the 15th. So that puts them in a situation where the family does not have any income coming in. But on the alternative, Mr. Davy does not want to go to jail where he's not going to receive any help with his
right,
alcohol
so he has
addiction.
2 choices because this is the 6th violation report and all his violations have to do with alcohol. And what the court has done is the court has slowly addressed, well, not slowly, but the court has addressed each violation. And I didn't immediately start with inpatient treatment. I started with outpatient treatment. And it's not helping. So that tells me he needs something more. So what I would suggest is that someone gets on the phone and call Lifetime Recovery and see how long it would take them to process him into their inpatient treatment program.
Okay,
So this is me trying to help you, Mr. Davy, and also protect the public. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so just remain in the courtroom. Your attorney is going to call Lifetime Recovery
yes.
and we will see if they're able to accept you. They should be. So if you'll call them immediately and we'll recess this for now and we'll see what the response is.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, thank you. And thank you so much for dressing appropriately for court. You always do, though. All right, who's here on Enoch Segundo and probation? There are no applications if you come down. Court is calling 2024 CR 008843, State of Texas versus Enoch Segundo. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Victoria Cruz on behalf of Raymond Martinez.
And are you Mr. Segundo?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have any objections to this attorney standing in for Raymond Martinez? Right, counsel, have you received all of the discovery?
Yes, Your Honor, defense is satisfied.
Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Everyone, please whisper. Whisper like you're spies. All right, did you review the the true bill of indictment with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Did you review the court admonishments with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with unauthorized use of a vehicle? That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Segundo, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 1 year in the state jail facility. There's a $2,000 fine. There are no applications. The state is taking in consideration 735-048, 735-049, night mag number 763361. And there's to be restitution, if any, to Chloe Rocha. That's CLOE. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor, if we may speak to anything under the line, whenever Your Honor is ready.
Thank you. And state, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, there's to be no contact with Chloe Rocha. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
No objection from defense.
All right, and state before you're excused, would you like to address the no contact order? All right, thank you. You may be excused. Mr. Segundo, did you review the waiver and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
And you wish to speak to the no contact order?
Your Honor, I misspoke, actually. I would like to request that defendant be allowed to have a restitution hearing, if any, as part of his requirements. I saw that restitution to the complainant is owed. That's fine. I'm just requesting a hearing to determine the amount beforehand.
Okay.
And if defendant could have credit for time served, we have 217 days on the system now, and that's all.
All right, and who is Viviano Segundo Senior?
My brother.
And who is Juan Antonio Segunda III?
Juan,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, that's my grandfather.
Okay. All right. The court will find you guilty. The court will sentence you to 1 year in the state jail facility, give you credit for any time served. There's a $2,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. Take in consideration 735-048, 735-049. There's to be no contact with Chloe Rocha. And restitution, if any. If you wish to have a restitution hearing, if the amount is something that you deem inappropriate, you can just request it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the records. Here's the thing, this whole thing that you're involved with, that could have turned sideways so quickly where you could have been killed, your brother or whoever is with you could have been killed. Do you have any children?
No,
All right, so you shouldn't even be thinking about that yet because you have to get your life in order. Do you understand?
yes, sir.
Unless you want to spend the rest of your life wearing orange in prison with somebody telling you something to do every single day, you better change your life. You understand?
Yes, Your
All right, good luck to you.
Honor. All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks.
How are you doing today? All right, let me just pull up your case. All right. So, Ms. Abrams, this is Elisa Hernandez. Where are we on the evaluations?
Judge, as reported to the court last week, she has an appointment on 11/26 to complete the Tacoma part of the mental health evaluation.
Mhm.
So that's where we are, Judge. And that's with the Center for Healthcare Services.
Okay.
That's on 11/26.
All right, so I wanted you brought over and I'd like to do these updates because I don't want people to be lost. Sometimes the ball gets dropped, right?
Yeah.
So they're telling me that the final evaluation you have will be on November 26th. And I'm just trying to make sure you get to the right place you're supposed to be so that you'll be able to successfully complete this.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, counsel, I'll recall it for after that date so that we can make sure that that was completed and we can find out what they deem is the best placement for her.
Right.
So, Vashan, when do you want to bring it back?
Due to that week being a holiday, I would ask that we either bring it back on the 5th or the
All right, council, the 5th or the 9th.
5.
All right, so we're gonna bring you back on December 5th to make sure all the testing is done. They should have the results in and we'll have a placement for you, okay?
Okay.
All right, do you have any other questions? All right, thank you so much for your patience.
Just keep working hard, okay? Just keep doing your job.
All right, thank you. Have a good one. Hello,
Hey, good morning, Judge.
good morning. Yes,
We're just coming to announce for trial
all right, we'll have a jury up here at 11.
at 11. Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
It's Joe.
Oh, Joe, I'm so sorry. The paperclip was hiding it and I just made assumptions, which I tell people, never make assumptions. All right, court is calling CM 113971, State of Texas versus Joe Maria Ramos. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Shannon Kite Pal.
And are you Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Ramos, your your attorney has filed a motion to withdraw. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
All right, do you have any objections to your attorney withdrawing from this case?
No.
All right, state, do you have any objections to the motion to withdraw?
No.
All right, the motion to withdraw will be granted. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Ramos, do you need an attorney appointed to represent you? Or are you gonna hire one?
I'm gonna hire.
All right, how much time do you need to hire an attorney?
Not sure.
All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna recall this for Norma. If you can recall this for December 9th. All right. So that gives you more than a month to hire an attorney. You'll need to come in on that date with an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form and then you're excused. All right, thank you. Yes, thank you for coming down. Good to see you. All right, thank you. Just give me one moment. Stand right there. Just give me a second, okay?
Thank you so much.
Hello, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Your attorney has medical issues, so we're gonna have to reset your case. And we're gonna reset your case for 2 weeks. Norma, if you'll recall this case, we're gonna recall it for November 21st. If your attorney is able to come in before that, we'll bring you back, okay?
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much.
All right, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am, I actually spoke to him yesterday, so I was just anticipating this.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Catherine Aguilar. All right, could I see Amanda Moula? Hello.
Hello.
So anyway, the state has filed a motion to dismiss your case. They're saying they're dismissing it because of missing witness. So I don't know anything about the facts of your case, but whatever brought you here, if there's some anger issues, is there something else going on in this case? You need to correct that. Otherwise you'll be back here. You understand? All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you, Your
welcome.
Honor. Be excused.
Yes.
Take care, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Uribe, you need to
Yes,
show
ma'am.
your video.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, we're gonna bring you back on December 5th. You can appear by Zoom. All right?
December 5th?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, and you can appear by Zoom.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, you're welcome. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you, Judge. You're welcome. All right, are the parties ready on Arabia?
Yes, Judge.
Who's the prosecutor on Isidore Aridia? All right, everyone, we're gonna go on the record. Court is calling 2024 CR 6568, State of Texas versus Isidore Aridia. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state
Your hand, Your Honor.
defense?
Suzanne Kramer for Mr. Heredia.
And are you Mr. Aridia?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we're here for sentencing. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
defense?
Judge.
And the TAP evaluation, state
Yes, Your Honor.
defense?
Yes.
Any objections to either state
No, Your Honor.
defense?
No.
All right, you applied for deferred adjudication. You entered a plea of no contest on September 17th. According to your plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 15 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon, and the state is opposed to your application. Are there any witnesses from either side, state,
No, state.
defense?
No, Judge.
All right, so it's just argument?
Yes, Judge.
All right, state you're opposed. I'll hear your argument. All right, defense.
Yes, Judge. He has been to prison once before. It was back in 2017 for an ag assault deadly weapon, as you can see from the report. One of the good things I saw when I was going through this PSI, which you don't normally see, is that he is very motivated for treatment, full-on safety. If you read the facts of this case, because of his drug and alcohol, primarily drugs, but some alcohol use on this particular day, he really does not remember the offense. His birthday was the next day. That's also the anniversary date of his grandmother's death, who he was very close to. He does live and would live with his grandfather, should you see fit to give him deferred. I know that it's an ask because he's been to prison once before. His misdemeanor history is, he's got, I think, a DWI conviction, and maybe an assault married conviction from a while ago. But if he goes to safety, that's like a good 9-month hit of intensive treatment that I think would serve him much better than going to prison, where he's not, even if he did therapeutic community, it's not going to do him as well. And clearly he needs, he's never really gotten any help from the system. He just went to prison on that ag assault. Looks like he did get deferred initially, but he wasn't really getting any kind of help. And I have talked to him. He has always accepted responsibility for this offense. He never did want a trial. He knew that he did wrong, which I think is shows that we might be able to actually get him the help that he needs so that he can get his life together. He goes to prison again. I'm not so sure he's going to get out, and with any of the help he needs, it's going to be just, I think, setting himself up to fail. Is there anything you would like to let the judge know?
You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Go ahead, Ebia.
All right, what would you like to say?
I mean, I know I messed up, Your Honor. I understand that, but I mean, I already been to prison. I feel like if I go back, that's really just not gonna do anything but help me. It's just really gonna send me in a spiral. I mean, when I was on probation, I never got any help that I needed. I always wanted help. I struggled with doing drugs. When I lost my grandmother on my birthday, that kind of hurt. And then soon after, I lost my little brother who I initially grew up with. So it kind of sent me in a spiral. And then in prison time, I lost my son to CPS because the mother of my child was on drugs and didn't really want to try to get my son back. So that really hurt him. And the only support that I have is my mother, my father, and a good friend. He's still by my side no matter what. He's just encouraging me every day to do good and wants to see me do good. But I never had any type of help. I would really appreciate if I can get any type of help.
So you're telling me when you were on deferred adjudication, they didn't give you any help? Because according to what I'm reading from the criminal history, you are on deferred adjudication for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. There was a motion to revoke filed. Now, I'm making assumptions. Usually when there's a motion to revoke that's filed, that means that they're alleging that you violated some conditions. And whatever condition you violate, they are supposed to address that if they're continuing you, address that. For example, if there's a drug issue, then they'll address it by giving you drug rehab. If there is an anger issue, they'll address it by giving you a class on anger management. So you're telling me none of that was done?
No, I was on class doing a BIP bad intervention program class.
Mhm.
And for them altering my days of class, which kind of gave me a revoke.
So you're saying they gave you BIP?
Yeah.
So this aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, that was against a relative or a family member? All right, and then you had the possession less than 28 grams. You were given deferred adjudication for that, and you were revoked. So you're telling me in all the time that you were on probation in those two instances, nobody offered you any help?
And when I was on probation for the 6 years, they were supposed to send me to ISF, but due to COVID, they never sent me to none of those.
Okay.
And just as an aside, Judge, he's only, I think,
Oh, well, I'm sorry, just 1 second. Do you have any questions for him?
No.
State, do you have any questions? All right. So-
he's 28 now. So when all of these other offenses were happening, looks like it to be about 8 to 10 years ago, he was very young. And it really didn't have any, probably the emotional or the brain development to really have taken advantage of whatever he might have been able to take advantage of. But he's older now, much more mature, looking at 30. And I think he would take this seriously. Of course, if you so chose to give him deferred and he goes to safety and he doesn't comply with their rules, back he comes and you can obviously send him to prison then, but I would like to see if maybe we could give him that chance.
All right, so here's my question. My understanding, your attorney is saying that you were going through some things. So according to the facts of this case, you're offering to buy an item for someone, is that correct?
I don't recall, but if it says yes.
No, I mean, it's saying that somebody set up to buy an item. I don't know if this was on OfferUp or whatever it was on, but the person arrives to sell his item and then a weapon is pulled on them. It was agreed that the purchase price would be $500, and then you pretended to reach in your pocket for money to pay, and then instead you pulled out a knife and pressed it to the victim's ribs and told the victim you were going to steal the phone. And then you had the wherewithal to change, I guess, I'm from the 70s where you had CBs and stuff. So you changed your handle from what it previously was to the P word. So, I mean, you had the wherewithal, even though, you're saying you had drug-induced issues, you still had the wherewithal to go in and change your account name and everything. And you had the wherewithal to reach out to someone to make a plan to buy an item from them and then set up a place to meet. But you're saying all of this was in a drug-induced haze?
Yes, sir.
Do you see how that sounds?
I see how it sounds. Well, at the time I was doing Xanax, and Xanax, when I do them, it was causing blackouts in and out. So I really don't remember.
And then see the thing for you not to remember, because you're telling me you're not remembering, obviously something happened that made you remember because you went in to change your name, your handle from where you had previously reached out to this person.
And Judge, of course, I'm not a psychologist,
Yes.
obviously by any stretch. But I mean, over all of the years, I think while if he's in a drug induced and he can't remember anything later, I don't think that necessarily means that at the time he wasn't able to function and, obviously do what he did. He
Mhm.
just doesn't recall it later once the drugs and the alcohol were off.
Okay, all right, thanks for explaining that. I appreciate that. All right, I just don't think you're appropriate candidate for deferred adjudication. So I'm not going to grant your application. I'm going to find you guilty. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. I'll ask for the therapeutic community because of your history. They may not place you in that. I have no authority to force them to place you there, but I do know if you don't ask for it, they definitely will not do it. I'll put in the judgment therapeutic community.
Thank you, Judge.
There's to be no contact with Daniel Anthony Guevara, Guevara. And just one moment. All right, now, let's speak to time. According to the plea bargaining agreement, it's cap of 15. State you're asking for 15. All right, defense.
Well, of course, Judge, I'm going to be asking for less than that. I think he went 6 years on the last stint, possibly. So I was telling him that I would ask you if you would possibly be willing to consider 8. Should you not be willing to grant the deferred?
All right. All right, the court is going to sentence you to 15 years in the prison. I'll give you credit for any time served. Did you review the trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. This is what I want you to understand. I take no joy in sending anyone to prison. I am still hopeful that you will do well. I know that 15 years is a lot of time. Any day that you spend in custody, even if it's an hour, it's a lot of time. I understand that. But you're going to have to change your ways, because otherwise what's going to end up happening is you're going to find yourself spending the rest of your life at the prison. And when you look at your history, if you pick up a new case, people are going to see that history, and your minimum is 25 years. And the law is the law. However, if you end up going to prison for 30 years, when it comes time for you to go to parole, they're going to look at your criminal history, and they may be inclined to let you sit there for the full 30 years. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so there's still a chance for you to improve yourself, to get your life together. So while you're at the prison, there are plenty of programs that are there for you. Read, get an education. They will give you an education for free. If you don't have your GED, get your GED. Work on improving yourself and do not become institutionalized. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, okay?
Thank you, Judge. Maybe be excused.
Yes.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Right, so my understanding, you all are requesting jury trial, correct?
That is correct.
All right, how long do y'all expect this trial to last?
3 days?
All right, I need a jury trial setting, criminal trial division, 2 to 3 days. Yes. All right, so you're gonna come back on December 2nd for jury trial. You'll be brought over dressed in whatever civilian clothing you have.
holiday, I would ask that we either bring it back on the fifth or the,
All right, council, the fifth or the ninth.
5.
All right, so we're gonna bring you back on December fifth to make sure all the testing is done. Chance to review the PSI report, state,
Yes, Your Honor.
defense?
Yes, Judge.
And the TAP evaluation, state,
Yes, Your Honor.
defense?
Yes.
Any objection?